action. Alright, so for all you guys who have got jetters, I want to show you a few things that you might not even know that you can have basically. So some of you guys might have a gun with your machine, just a standard gun. It's got a fan jet on the end in here, and you can just quick release it onto your main reel or to your mini reel, and you can clean your driveway or whatever you want to do. So you can take this one step, you can take it lots of steps further, right? So I'll show you the different options that we've got. So that's your gun, same gun. We can put the tail in on one end and we can put a quick release on the other end. So with the quick release on this end, you can have a small section of hose with a nozzle on the other end. So if you want to climb under a house and you've got to jet one of the pipes under the house, you can leave your mini reel at the entrance under the house. You can just connect it. You can open your mini reel, charge the gun, climb under the house, have your 20 meters or 10 meters or whatever hose onto here with your nozzle on it, stick it in the pipe under the house and use that as your ball valve. So that's one option you can do with that. Second option is you can have individual lance pipes. This one's about 1.2 meters long, and you can connect that onto there, and you can have, there's actually a 5-pack of nozzles here. The different colours are all different degrees in the fan. So the red is a pencil jet, the yellow is a 15 degree fan, the green is a 25-degree fan, and the white is a 40-degree fan. The black one's just a low pressure nozzle that you probably won't use, and you can just quick release those on the end, and then you can spray out. So I'll open that up so I can show you that in a minute. We'll come back to that one. Then we have, with the guns, going back to the guns for a minute, that's your base gun. On the trigger, it's a bit on-off on the trigger. Then you've got the Vega guns, so these are made in Italy. A little bit nicer on the trigger, a little bit better grip. And then we've got these guns as well. These are from Germany. They have an inbuilt swivel, and they've got a bit of a soft trigger on them, so they're actually quite nice on the trigger. And then you put whatever you want in that end. There's one more version of the gun. So with the Vega gun and just the normal quick release, if you're going to quick release a long lance pipe on, you can see when that comes on, there's not a lot of give there really. So if you're using long lance pipes for digging or things like that, they actually make what's called a K fitting, which is this long quick release, and this gun's fitted up with the K connector here. So you can see when that clicks in, it actually gives it a lot more leverage there. So with this one, we've got a swivel turbo on the end. So with the swivel turbo, I like to use a long lance pipe. This one's about 1500, because this swivel turbo, if it swivels 270 degrees, and if it swivels back at you, you're kind of 1500 away. So you're going to get wet, but you're not going to get injured. So with this one, this is a lot of guys know about this and use it now. Once you pull the trigger and pressurize everything, this will tend to stay in its position, but if you let go of the trigger, it can move. So you just want to be really careful with this flexible turbo lance, and you can use this one for going down a pipe, getting into a branch line, and then just pulling the trigger and just blowing the roots out for that first half a metre or whatever you need. So then you've got enough to put the nozzle in and get it started. So that's what that is. Then we have the foaming gun. Foaming gun you can fill with a bit of truck wash and some water, and then you can connect it to your gun. You can connect it to here, connect your mini reel or your main reel to here, and then when you pull the trigger, you're going to spray foam over everything. So you can adjust the foam to water ratio through there, and you can adjust the fan, so a wide fan or a low fan through there. So I'll show you this one working as well. Then we have this one here. This is a low pressure washdown gun. You don't use this with the jetter. This is for when you've cleaned an area and you want to rinse off. This has got an inbuilt swivel. You just want to put a normal tap connection onto this one, and this one flows up to 60 litres a minute, so you're getting about 40 from the tap at some places. So you're getting a good 40 litres a minute out of here where you can rinse off an area. These are really, really good, and I'll show you that as well. The next thing is the rotary floor cleaner, which is this guy here. So this is just a hovering 20-inch floor cleaner. It has an arm underneath it with two 25-degree fan jets, and they're at a slight angle. So once you run the water through at high pressure, that water will push this around, and it kind of acts like a lawnmower for your pressure cleaner. So this, if you're doing big areas like this, connect it to your main reel and off you go. It's going to be a lot more even, and it's going to be a lot faster than doing a whole area with a gun. And I'll show you that as well. So when you're doing an area with a gun, when you start cleaning, you want to be parallel to the surface. You don't really, that's why this gun's got a little bit of a bend in it, to try and get you as parallel to the surface as possible. So if you're cleaning like this, you know, 20 minutes later, you're cleaning like this, and then you're cleaning like this, and then you've swapped hands, you're cleaning like this. Then when you look at the ground, everything is zebra stripe because you're not even. When you use the floor cleaner, it's always going to be even. So when you have a look at the whole area you've done, it's going to be a lot more even. So, and it's a lot faster too. So, all right. So what I'll show you first is the floor cleaner. So I've got the KegJet Panther over there. I'm going to use that, which is our remote control machine. So I'll just flick her on. I'll get our hose. I'll activate it by holding the on button, which activates the remote, and then I'll just hit set because I want a command function, and we'll start the engine up. Beautiful. So now connect to the floor cleaner. And now I'll hit set. Pressure on. That this machine is too powerful for this, we can actually turn the pressure down a little bit on the machine. I'll show you how to do that. So on the machine you've got this valve here. This valve's the unloader valve, and this one's the pressure adjustment here. That one adjusts the pressure, and that one there with the Allen key in it is the locking nut. So don't touch this one with the locking nut, because you don't want to wind the pressure over what the machine's been set to, because then you're going to have trouble. So, but if you want to reduce the pressure, you can back it off either with a shifter, or you can get one of these red knobs to put on there, and that will just click on, and then we can actually unwind the pressure. So we'll check the pressure on the pressure gauge of the machine, and if we wind it back a little bit, just then that floor cleaner won't lift off the ground as much. So if I wind it in, well, I'll wind it out a little bit so we can see where we are. Flick that back on. so I've wound the pressure back down to about 3,500, and that seems to be not lifting as much now, so it's a bit easier. But that's your call. If you want to run it at full pressure, you can run at full pressure and just move a bit faster. So I'll wind that back up to where it was. If you want to use it as a jetter again, you can wind that back up to the locking nut, and then that's it. So now, when you use a floor cleaner like this, what happens is you'll see all of this dirty water comes up, and this dirty water is what you've cleaned. So you really want to rinse everything off. So that's when this washdown gun comes in really handy. But before I use the washdown gun, I might just show you what the foaming gun does. So then I can actually rinse off the foam everywhere. Okay, so I need a gun. Too much down, because you get the idea. So that's what the foaming gun does. They're really good. So this is the low pressure washdown gun, and because of the flow rate that this gun uses, so we've got this to a 3/4 green flex hose. I wouldn't be using it with a 1/2 inch hose because you're not going to get enough flow out. So if you pull the trigger lightly, you'll get a nice big cone, and then the harder you pull the trigger, that cone will start falling in. So if you want to rinse off all the work that you've done with your floor cleaner, rather than using your gun, it's going to save you a lot of time. So you get the idea how good this is. So that's your low pressure washdown gun. And there's one thing you can do also with that. I'll show you. It has an adjustment nut on the back. So when you're on full throttle, full trigger I mean, you can adjust the back of it. So if you want more, or you want it to be more of a fan, so when you see now I've got like a really long range, and then you can put your trigger lock on, and then you can adjust it so that I get the furthest firing. Now I'm not pulling the trigger, I can just rinse everything off without holding the trigger the whole time, which is really nice with this gun. These are really, really good. That's it. So that's the low pressure washdown gun. A couple more things that we have is your normal gun that you get with your jetter. I can show you this. So with this Panther machine, because I can control the pressure via the remote, I don't have to have an inline ball valve here. I can just disconnect it, I can put on another gun, and then I can just pressure on.